Welcome in everybody to the VR Game Showcase for June 2026 recap. There was a lot going on. We got new co-op shooters, horror games, racing games, flat to VR news, and a full reveal for Payday Aces High, which honestly might be one of the biggest VR games shown that I'm personally really excited for. So I'm going to quickly run through the pre-show first, then cover the main showcase in order, and I'll spend a bit more time on the games that actually stood out to me. So let's dive right into it. The pre-show had a bunch of smaller announcements. Bullet Time Agent is a sci-fi action game with slow motion dodging, robot punching, and bullet hell style combat. Salmon Man is getting multiplayer, which actually sounds perfect for a goofy physics platformer where you're paddling upstream in this frustrating genre. Fixer Undercover is a prison escape room style game where you use realistic tools to solve puzzles and go undercover. Bamboo Grove is a psychological horror game coming to Quest in September. Beat the Beats is getting a level editor update so players can make and share custom rhythm boxing tracks. Augmental Puzzles is adding logic puzzles. Daggerwoods VR is a horror mystery escape room style game set in a haunted forest. And Damye, Lila, and Ghost is a co-op puzzle adventure where two players solve puzzles inside living paintings. Now, let's go on to the main showcase. The main show started strong with Breacher's Outbreak from Triangle Factory, who also made Forefront. This is a new 4-player co-op shooter set in the Breacher's universe, but instead of tactical PvP, you're surviving quarantine zones filled with infected enemies. It's coming to VR and flat screen with crossplay, and honestly, this is one of the strongest reveals. Breachers already had very solid VR gunplay, so turning that into a co-op Outbreak shooter looks like it'll be a blast to play. Lane Split now has VR support available. This is a first-person motorcycle racing game where you're weaving through traffic at high speed. If a fast sense of speed is what you desire in VR, this one could be a lot of fun. The Rifted Skies was one of the best-looking games in the showcase. It's a colorful VR platforming roguelite where you run, jump, climb, dash, and fight enemies through floating worlds. The movement looks very active, with arm swinging and physical combat, and the whole thing has a bright fantasy style that immediately stands out. It's coming fall 2026 to MetaQuest and Steam VR. Maestro is getting a free update with visual and audio improvements, plus expert difficulty. There's also new DLC, including Attack on Titan and Ashes on the Fire. Skeleton Crew is a pirate treasure hunting game in VR. You sail, fight skeletons, steal treasures, and can play solo or in co-op. It gives off a smaller Sea of Thieves kind of vibe, which is a compliment, because that idea fits really well in VR. It's available now in early access on MetaQuest. Exoshock is a fast-paced sci-fi shooter that looks very Doom-like, with up to 4 players co-op. It's available now on Steam VR and MetaQuest, with multiplayer coming in July. If you just want fast-paced VR shooting with friends, this one could be a lot of fun. Squiddo Studios showed a bunch of projects off. Wizherd is a fantasy dungeon crawler, Outlanders VR is a cozy town builder, Nomsters is a cute creature collecting game, Roar is a flying dragon game that looks inspired by hand-based VR movement like Gorilla Tag, unfortunately. The Light Keepers is probably the most interesting one here though. It's a defense shooter where you protect a lighthouse from monsters and gather supplies during the day, and it's releasing on September 10th. And Transformers Beyond Reality is coming to MetaQuest on September 3rd after being on PlayStation VR platforms. Then there's Soul Protocol. It's a co-op space extraction style game where you and your crew pilot a ship, explore stations, man turrets, and survive together. Visually, it has a colorful sci-fi style that kind of feels like No Man's Sky mixed with Borderlands. It's coming to MetaQuest in September and Steam VR in October. FlatOut 4 Total Insanity VR is still getting improvements during early access. More wheel support is coming, more updates are planned, and PSVR 2 support is being worked on. As someone who reviewed this game, I am glad they're still improving it, because the core idea of chaotic destruction racing in VR is genuinely exciting. And we've desperately needed some solid VR arcade racers with wheel support. And here we have it. Raid is a sci-fi co-op game where you play as space customs agents, inspecting ships, find contraband, and fight enemies. It sounds weird, but in a good way. It's coming to MetaQuest. Primal Rumble is a deck-building, tabletop-style battler. If you're into strategy card games in VR or mixed reality, it might be worth keeping an eye on. VR Racer Hoverbike is still going after 9 years in development. The new update adds a new bike, engine classes, better multiplayer balance, weekly meetups, and DLC. It's on PSVR 2, Meta, and Steam VR. Trombone Champ Unflattened is getting new Disney DLC in July, along with 2 new performance environments. It's coming to MetaQuest, PSVR 2, and Steam VR. Flat to VR also revealed I Am Your Beast VR for PC VR. This is a fast, aggressive shooter about quick movement, improvising kills, and taking down enemies in stylish ways. Guardians Planetfall looks like a co-op Helldivers style shooter, with randomly generated planets, alien enemies, and mission objectives. It's coming to early access in 2026. In We Go is a free-to-play 4-player co-op horror game available now on MetaQuest, with Steam VR coming later. It looks like another game built around friends panicking together, which usually works pretty well in VR. Drifters Blackout Crew is from the developers of Sweet Surrender. It's a co-op PvE extraction shooter with crafting, weapon upgrades, bosses, and team-based missions. H3VR 2, or Hot Dogs, Horseshoes, and Hand Grenades 2, got a development update. This one is for the gun nerds. You play as a hot dog, but the real appeal is the detailed weapon handling, physics, and sandbox-style gunplay. It's coming to MetaQuest and Steam VR. Korea IL-2 is getting VR support on June 25th in early access, with the full launch on August 4th. This is a beautiful combat flight sim with cockpit controls, aerial combat, and amazing warplanes to fly. For flight sim fans, this one is looking really good. The big closer was Payday Aces High from Fast Travel Games. This is a full VR co-op heist shooter coming in 2026 to Quest 3, PSVR 2, and Steam VR. You plan heists, scout locations, choose between stealth or going in loud, and then try to actually pull off the job with your team. There are various locations such as museums, airports, and banks, and you get the job done with your choice of weapons, gadgets, skills, cosmetics, and there's 5 difficulty levels to choose between. The part that sounds most exciting to me is the planning phase. Listening to the brief, checking the building, making a plan, and then watching that plan completely fall apart with friends sounds exactly like the kind of chaos that works in VR. And I'm pretty excited for this one. And there you have it. Overall, this showcase was very co-op heavy. Some of the biggest titles were Payday Aces High, Breacher's Outbreak, The Rifted Skies, Soul Protocol, Drifters Blackout Crew, and Korea IL-2 for the flight sim crowd. But I'm curious what you thought. Which game from the showcase are you actually interested in? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, in case you missed it, I covered the Upload VR Summer Showcase, which happened not too long ago. Make sure to check it out as well. If you enjoyed this video, a like is super helpful, thank you so much, and subscribing is the best way to get more VR news coverage just like this. Until next time, I hope you all have a good day. Take care.